You heard it right, everyone. A fresh episode of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms has dropped early, and so have we. Just 2 days before the Super Bowl, the gods have blessed us with an episode setting up one of the most legendary battles in Westeros history, a battle featuring just 14 people. How can something so small feel so monumental? That's the magic of storytelling, and this show delivers it in spades. In this video, we're diving deep into the Game of Thrones connections, breaking down who's fighting on each side of the Trial of Seven, uncovering the mystery behind that fortune teller, and exploring why Dunk might never have been knighted at all. But before we begin, let's be real, we write, edit, and produce these videos ourselves. Every like, subscribe, and comment helps us reach more of you, so don't forget to follow and subscribe to our channel, Movies and Series Reset. And yes, we apologize for the sound quality. Our microphone had an unfortunate run-in with what we can only assume was a very mischievous direwolf. The episode opens with what looks like a starry night sky, fitting for a hedge knight like Dunk, who often sleeps under the stars. But as the camera pans down, we realize these aren't stars, they're torches reflecting off the cold, hard walls of Ashford Castle's dungeon. Last episode, Dunk laid hands on Prince Aerion Targaryen, and when we say laid hands, we mean he gave him a beating he won't forget. Prince Aerion, son of Mar and grandson of King Daeron II, was furious that a commoner would dare insult the Targaryen name by performing the legend of Serwyn of the Mirror Shield, a tale of a knight slaying a dragon. Since the Targaryens see themselves as the blood of the dragon, Aerion took this as treason. In the book, Dunk admits he doesn't know what came over him. He saw a girl in trouble and acted on instinct. Now, he's paying the price for roughing up a prince who's ninth in line to the throne. One of the things we love about this show is its attention to detail. Last episode, Plummer mentioned rain might be coming, and sure enough, as Dunk looks out his cell window, we see rain and a rat. But unlike the rats in King's Landing, Dunk gently pets this one. Having grown up in Flea Bottom, he knows what it's like to be at the bottom. It's a small but powerful moment. Rats were the disguised blood and cheese used to infiltrate the Red Keep, and after their tragedy, King Aegon II ordered every rat catcher hanged. So that cat Aerion threw down the well, maybe it's a distant ancestor of the cats brought in to hunt those rats. The rain and the rat are classic pathetic fallacy, the rain foreshadowing Dunk's descent into the Trial of Seven, and the rat hinting at the betrayal of Sir Steffon Fossaway. But we'll get to that later. Egg arrives in his princely Targaryen robes, revealing his true identity as Aegon V, 10th in line to the throne and 4th son of Mar Targaryen. Dunk even guesses how many Aegons have been king: Aegon the Conqueror, Aegon the Usurper from House of the Dragon, Aegon the Dragonbane, and Aegon the Unworthy. Being 10th in line earns Egg the title Aegon the Unlikely. But last episode, a fortune teller claimed Egg would die as king in a fire. Here's where things get interesting. The actress playing the fortune teller is the same one who played the innkeeper in episode 1. Some fans think she might actually be Brynden Bloodraven Rivers, a Targaryen bastard and sorcerer who later becomes the Three-Eyed Raven. He had the power to glamour himself to look like others, and he was alive during the Ashford tourney. Could this be a hint? Let us know what you think. Dreams, visions, and prophecies have always played a huge role in the Game of Thrones universe. There's Daenerys the Dreamer, who foresaw the doom of Valyria, Aegon the Conqueror, who dreamed of uniting Westeros against the White Walkers, and even Helaena Targaryen. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms adds Daeron Targaryen to this list, Egg's eldest brother and 8th in line to the throne, not to be confused with the current king, Daeron II. Daeron was the drunk we met in episode 1, the one who warned Dunk to stay away from him because he saw him in a dream. Daeron was supposed to take Egg to the tourney, but since he had no intention of fighting, Egg went looking for a knight to squire for. As Dunk puts it, Egg was so desperate he'd have squired for a donkey. Daeron tells Dunk his dreams aren't like ours, they come true. In his dream, he saw Dunk, a great fire, and a dead dragon with wings so vast they could cover all of Ashford Meadow. But this can't be literal. Dragons haven't been seen in Westeros for 56 years. The last one died in 153 AC, small and sickly, never even given a name. It won't be for another 90 years that Daenerys' dragons hatch in Essos. So, if it's not a literal dragon, maybe it's a metaphor, a Targaryen. And if Dunk is involved in this death, it's a heavy burden to carry. Egg brings Dunk food and an apology. He lied, and Dunk is rightfully furious. Without Egg, he wouldn't be in this mess. To make matters worse, Dunk thought this was all a joke to humiliate him. The show even plays into this idea of Dunk as a fool, especially through the tale of Florian and Jonquil. We saw a puppet reenactment of this story in episode 2, and now Dunk holds up the decapitated head of Florian, a dark omen. It's a stark reminder that the ideal knight only exists in legends, and Dunk is struggling with that reality. Egg confesses the truth. He and Daron were supposed to hide at the inn until the tourney ended. Daron even shaved Egg's head to hide his silver hair. Dunk says it was bad luck that they found each other, which contradicts Egg's earlier claim that their meeting was good luck, symbolized by a shooting star. Dunk then meets with Egg's uncle, Baelor Targaryen, the Hand of the King and next in line for the Iron Throne. Baelor is smart, pragmatic, and well-read, very much like King Viserys from House of the Dragon. He doesn't rush to judgment, unlike some kings we've seen. There are small details here that reveal Baelor's character. He's surrounded by books showing his dedication to knowledge. He's calm even when Dunk raises his voice. Most importantly, Baelor puts justice above family. He could have executed Dunk based on Aerion and Daron's testimony, but he doesn't. Instead, he informs Dunk of his right to a trial by combat. However, Baelor's hands are tied. Dunk did lay hands on a prince, and the last person who did that lost a hand. Since Dunk used both his hand and foot, he'd lose both. This is why Baelor suggests a trial by combat, letting the gods decide. The next scene shows Lords Ashford, Tyrell, Baelor, Mar, and Aerion holding court over Dunk. Aerion, disrespectfully smashing walnuts, thinks he can refuse the trial by combat, but Dunk can only be denied if Aerion withdraws his claim. Instead, Aerion invokes the Trial of 7, likely assuming Dunk can't gather 6 other knights by morning. Baelor's hands are tied again. It's Aerion's right. And let's not forget Lord Ashford kneeling to pick up Aerion's nut. Some things you just can't unsee. Mar is clearly displeased. This puts Aerion in danger and forces members of the Kingsguard and even Mar himself to fight. Once dismissed, Dunk laments his fate, asking his horse if he's going to die. Last episode, Egg mentioned his father thought talking to horses was useless because they're stupid, but Dunk isn't giving up yet. Enter Sir Raymond Fossaway, Dunk's bromance buddy. He's heard the story of Dunk beating up the prince, and inside we see his cousin, Steffon Fossaway, eating an apple, the iconic fruit of House Fossaway. Last episode, we heard Steffon has no chivalry, so it's surprising when he claims to have seen what Aerion did to Tanselle and wants to fight for honor. The Fossaways also despise the Targaryens, seeing them as incestuous warmongers. But we'll see just how far Steffon's honor goes. Steffon claims he can recruit men like Lionel Baratheon, Tybalt Lannister, and Alan Bracken, but by the end of the episode, we learn he never went to any of them. The only reason Lionel is there is because Egg asked him. In the book, Dunk himself tries to recruit Lords Lannister and Bracken, who bluntly refuse, so Steffon's promise is just empty words. Dunk could run, but that would likely end in his death or a life on the run, never achieving his dream of knighthood. Dunk is shocked when Egg returns, this time with his brother Daron. Dunk isn't happy to see the man who lied about kidnapping Egg, but Daron has an offer. He'll fight on Dunk's side, but plans to get hit once and then play dead, making it a 6-for-7 fight if Dunk can gather his men. You might be wondering, why would Egg help Dunk in a battle that could kill his father and brothers? The key here is that death isn't guaranteed in a trial of 7. A side wins by making the other yield or become incapacitated. Egg sees this as a chance to take down Aerion, the brother who's caused him so much pain. Steely Pate, the armorer, brings Dunk's shield, now painted with his new sigil after he was told he couldn't use the penny sigil. Tanselle is gone, fleeing to Dorne, and Dunk sees the falling star on his shield as an omen of death. But Steely reminds him of the tree, strong, alive, and in its prime. He's even reinforced the shield, all for the price of a copper, essentially doing it for free. As dawn breaks, Dunk watches the arena being prepared. The trial is set for early morning, and we meet 6 of the 7 defenders. There's Dunk, Lionel Baratheon, who loves a good fight, Humphrey Harding, the man whose leg was crushed by Aerion's stallion, and Sir Robin, who believes in Dunk's cause and might be half-mad. The crowd has gathered for one of the biggest spectacles in decades, and Dunk is shocked to see only 6 on Aerion's side. Aerion himself, Daron, and 3 Kingsguard members, Sir Roland Crakehall and Sir Donal of Duskendale. The reason? Stefan betrayed Dunk, switching sides after Arion promised him a lordship. This betrayal pushes Raymond to join Dunk's side, but Dunk hesitates when Raymond asks to be knighted. Why? Because there's ambiguity in the book about whether Dunk was ever truly knighted by Sir Arlen. The show hints he wasn't. In episode 1, when Plummer asks if there were witnesses to his knighting, Dunk says only a robin in the thorn tree. And later, there's a shot of Dunk kneeling, almost mirroring Raymond's knighting moment, with Arlen's ghostly voice saying, "What are you looking at me for, kid? I never knighted you." The teams are now 6 versus 7 in Arion's favor. Arion insists they need exactly 7 or Dunk is deemed guilty. Dunk gives an impassioned speech about honor, hoping someone will step forward. Just as it seems hopeless, a man stands up, only to let out the loudest fart in Westeros history. It's a perfect balance of tone, blending humor with high stakes. When all seems lost, Prince Baelor arrives to fight for Dunk. The crowd erupts as the Game of Thrones theme plays in full. Baelor believes Dunk is doing what any true knight must, protecting the innocent. His arrival changes everything. The Kingsguard are sworn to protect Baelor, so they may have to focus on others or yield. Daeron won't harm his uncle, and it'll be interesting to see if Mar or Arion strike at him. The end of episode 4 is just the beginning of episode 5, the epic trial of 7. Who will live, who will die? And will Dunk prove his innocence? We'll have to wait until next week to find out. Follow and subscribe to our channel, Movies and Series Reset, for more reviews and deep dives. Until then, remember, great stories are worth fighting for.